Rogers TV. Hey, welcome to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. Oh my goodness, another beautiful weekend. Are we ever fortunate? And the weather lately, it's been spectacular. Another spectacular day today. And she always brings sunshine into the studio, even if it's a little gloomy outside. Jeanette Ewan, lifestyle editor and designer extraordinaire, joining me on the show. How are you?
I'm tickled pink to be here.
I love your energy and enthusiasm. You always get me excited.
I actually love your and Monica's energy and enthusiasm when it comes to renovations and homes and decor and stuff. And so I want to bring some trend items today and just talk about redecorating in general, because a lot of people think, I know the economy's not the nicest out there.
Yes.
Trust me, I feel it. But there's still ways to get, if you're a creative person and you like renovating and stuff, there's still ways to kind of get that thrill and that fun in your home.
And I mean, what I love about what you do is, you know, the things that you talk about are often quite easy and, more importantly, affordable, right? And as you said, everybody seems to be struggling in some way, but we want to change things up a little bit, right? We kind of get bored after a little while. What do you want to start with today?
Well, basically, also, a lot of us are armchair decorators, too, so that's where we get our creative thrill. So I have to tell you, I'm starting with a trend, and you actually gave me this idea.
What?
The last time I was here, we talked about adding bold colors of paint a little bit, and you're like, oh, I might want to do a rich navy wall or something like that. So we are seeing a real return to this classic kind of English navy, a little bit nautical. People are taking more risk with their walls because less people are flipping now.
Right.
So if you don't necessarily want to paint your walls, one great way to bring it in is
look at this
cushions.
Beautiful color.
Okay, feel the quality of that.
I know.
And guess where I got that?
Okay. HomeSense.
Rona.
What?
Which is so great because, okay, HomeSense is good, but you don't always get matching. Rona has larger amounts of stock. Of course, very Canadian company, and they bring in a lot of Canadian brands, which I'll touch on in a minute.
And it's nice, like real soft,
I know, right?
Yeah, it's almost like not exactly velvety, but you know what I'm saying, right?
It's like almost like an ultra suede from when they made really good quality fabrics in the 80s.
Why are we so afraid of bold colors? And especially like on walls, I think I understand why some people are afraid. But as you said, if you look towards Europe and compare it to North America, like it's night and day, right?
Well, I have worked with some of the greats in design, especially Canadian design. I've worked with Linda Reeves at House & Home for years, and then I popped over to Debbie Travis. I'll tell you, Linda Reeves brought the beige. I love Linda. She is a wonderful woman.
She's to blame for the beige?
And we split, and I went and started Chocolat magazine, which was bright and colorful, and we would just have such fun banter because an issue of 2002 House & Home will look the same as 2024, which is great. Some people love consistency. Some people love neutrals in their home, especially people who are into flipping. It's easier to sell that neutral thing. And I think in Canada that became such a thing that from the 80s and 70s homes and people in Europe don't flip as much. So I think it's that. And things are slowing down with the flips in Canada. So hopefully we'll see a little more color in our homes.
Not only flips, but people buy their home and then they think, you know, if I do anything dramatic, when I eventually sell, I'm going to have to, you know, repaint the whole place. Well, just if you love it, enjoy it now and worry about selling it in the 10 to 20 years down the road.
Thank you. And if it's a rental, there's things you can do too. Dorothy Draper, my favorite design guru ever, started, I believe, in the 1920s. She said, if it looks right, it is right, and do what you want.
Nice.
So that's another good one. So one fun thing I like to bring into my home is I like to feel very wealthy.
Don't we all, Jeanette? Yeah.
When I'm not. So in my home, you will see a lot of, I'll bring indoor sculptures in. So again, raid the garden center at Rona, and I might spray paint them in neutral, so like a Grecian bust, and then I'll put a ton of faux plants kind of dripping down in front of it. Nothing says money like sculpture and plants dripping.
Absolutely. And the fake plants have come so far, right?
So far. I love these ones.
I do too. Like, and listen, especially, you know, like myself, you know, we have a cottage and we want to bring green into the cottage. We're not there all the time, so everything's going to die. So we've started to bring in these fake plants, and I used to worry that, I don't know, they're going to look pretty terrible and tacky, and they don't.
They
look
don't,
great.
and I find the more is the better. If you layer up similar shades but different styles, it looks really good.
What do you got here?
Another fun tip, peel and stick tiles. So you have the options. This, of course, is a nice little vinyl one. You can pop that on a wall or a ceiling. You could even just do a column with that. Tons of fun.
For sure.
Again, I got these from Rona. Another quick, easy one. paint your furniture and replace the knobs. And again, I like to look rich, so this is kind of a mother of pearl wood carving. And brass. Also, nothing says money like brass.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, you know, you talk about expenses. People think, you know, if I'm going to paint my cupboards, I've got to sell, you know, send it to a company to do it professionally. You can do it yourself. There are so many, you know, DIY videos out there now too. If you're a little intimidated by it, or you know, just follow you on Instagram.
Did you just segue to my next comment?
I don't know, did I?
So I actually bought this Rust-Oleum. It's appliance epoxy, so you can paint your appliances with it. I bought it just to show on air because I think that's a great tip if you want to update your appliances. Then I did it on this little house, which is a plastic toy house. It's like a kid's. It was bright red.
Right.
You can see this on my Instagram. It goes on. This is my new favorite spray paint ever, and they've done one that paints fabrics. Now I'm going to give you a tip. So when I moved to Los Angeles, I partnered with a master fabricator to become a designer. So I did a 5-year apprenticeship, and he taught me the art of spray painting. And he's like, he's like, make yourself into a machine. So you just always want to keep your arm even, coats go across, and you will get the best coverage. So I always like lay out a little spray booth or a plastic cover, but I just remember that trick, and even distance at all points.
Oh, that's
and you will get the best coverage on furniture that if you do that in your little brass knobs, you're going to look like a millionaire.
Yeah, because I usually do the, you know, the ink, ink.
That's, you're still being a machine.
Okay.
I'm just being the machine that goes back. I'm the more efficient machine.
Okay. I like efficiency.
Okay, another fun, easy update is peel and stick. So I love peel and stick. This is a fun one, great for a kid's room or a ceiling.
Yeah.
And when you're doing peel and stick, it actually goes on a lot like real wallpaper. So get the little, you get your little wrinkle remover, push it down. I love this. This is great for rentals. And
it can save a marriage.
Explain.
Listen, I'm just saying, wallpapering has the joke's always been, you know, if you want to test your relationship, you wallpaper together. Now that's probably back in the day when you had that trough with the glue in it, and you dip it in, and the two of you would have it all over you, right? And you'd be trying to put it up, and the fight begins. You know what I'm saying, right?
I know exactly what you're saying because my mom just made me do. I wallpapered her study for her. She sat and relaxed, and I did it on my own. And it was pre-pasted, but I was using the trough, and this thing was dripping with glue. And I was like,
messy.
This is a nightmare. But I think there's an update on it. I heard that IKEA is a divorce tester now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If you can put IKEA furniture together. Okay, this one is another great one, too.
I like the colors.
This is fun. Oops, I got it upside down. If you want to add like a structural flair, we're seeing a lot of arches come into vogue. On your walls, you can use peel and stick structural items, which is really cool.
It gives me that 70s vibe, this one.
I love the 70s.
It's like the jukebox right here.
Good call.
Right? It looks like a jukebox, absolutely.
This, I think, would look really fun. Yeah, in a rec room or something like that.
For sure. And then you brought a nice lamp along with you here as well. Again, a nice way to add a bit of color without spending a lot of money, right?
And Canadian made. So which is really great, which I always like. And that's why I always often try to mention a lot of Canadian companies, because everything we can do to shop Canadian.
Absolutely.
Brings in
so
stuff.
You're saying for the next segment that you're kind of bringing this one into the next segment?
We are bringing this one. I just wanted to show the spray paint and the peel and stick tile, but we're going to turn this around and turn it into a haunted house.
Okay.
And you can see I've even iced it.
No, you have. I love it. All right, Jeanette's back for another segment. We're going to be talking about some of the top fall trends, and of course, Halloween. It's just around the corner, ladies and gentlemen, so make sure you hit record and you'll have some great ideas. We'll be back with Jeanette right after this. Don't go anywhere.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Join us for season 4 of Simply Cooking by Chef, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock, right here on Rogers TV.
Kids these days, people say we lack initiative.
And technology, that we're all addicted.
Kids these days, we hear that we only care about ourselves. Apparently, we're lazy.
And don't seem to have any sense of independence.
Actually, kids these days are facing a lot.
Because the world has changed, and so have our health issues.
Kids these days, we could really use your help. Join CHIO in our biggest fundraising campaign ever to transform pediatric care.
Hey everybody, my name is Karen. I'm here with my best friends Shane and Monique. Join us on Rogers TV for Fitness Faction. Every week we're gonna take you through a full body workout. We've got strength training, we've got cardio, we've got HIIT. Ladies, let's get back into it.
I think we've got 10 more skaters. Let's go.
Public transit, garbage pickup, parks and recreation programs, snow removal on your street. How can you stay informed about these and other important local services? Tune to City Council coverage on Rogers TV. See your community leaders at work on Rogers TV City Council coverage.
This week on Canada Files, a true Canadian hero, Rick Hansen. How he took a personal tragedy and made it into a lifelong mission for people with disabilities.
Hey, welcome back to the show. We are back with designer and lifestyle editor Jeanette Ewan talking some of the top fall trends, and I'm pretty excited because I just looked across and you brought everything that's very unique from each other, but you say everything kind of has a theme here. Is that right?
Yes, and we're going to figure that out as we go.
Okay.
We'll have you guess at the end. So I used to produce a lot of, well, I still do some trend pages. So it's kind of that back page again of House and Home where it's trend spotting. You pick a main trend and all these random things that go together somehow with it.
Okay.
So we're going to start with, over here for my top trend is group fitness.
Okay.
So pickleball.
Oh, huge.
It's just
exploded.
It's exploded everywhere. And of course, there's the Ottawa Pickleball Association you can look into to see where you can play pickleball. And I'm not sure if you've been watching the Netflix series on the Menendez brothers.
No.
Very good, and it's by Ryan Murphy, but the styling, it's all focused on 1988 and 89. So you're seeing those Sergio Tacconi jackets, those short shorts. Everyone's playing racquetball and tennis.
Oh, I remember those days,
so
right?
I think we will also see a return to kind of retro styling stuff. Now, I picked these up from the thrift store, so you can bring in that kind of...
Oh, these were from the thrift store.
I love that. I'm like, you can bring in the look of the two murdering boys into your wardrobe. So there we start. That's a little Halloween costume idea, too.
That is a good one.
Now, I've paired them with, of course, because I've got as many Canadian brands on as I can, Sapporo. So they make support socks, and they've been making them for years. And they make everything from medical to sports socks. They do the sleeve for your calf.
Okay.
They do work socks. And feel the quality of these.
Oh, wow.
They're so great.
So these are the ones that are nice and tight, eh? And that helps with like blood flow and
circulation and recovery as well.
And recovery,
so when you're running distances or playing pickleball really a lot, it's going to give you better endurance. And they actually have a great website. If you go on their website, you can see videos on how to put the socks on and which type of degree of compression that you'll need.
I should look into these even for curling, I'm thinking, right?
Great for curling, and I will actually leave you these.
Well, there you go.
Because there you go.
There we go.
Because I buy my props.
She does, by the way, and that's what I love about you.
I even have my receipt for this one. So our next thing is going into influencers, which I'm not always a fan of, and we speak publicly about.
There's some great ones.
Some great ones. We're going to talk about the good ones in a minute.
Yes.
I don't love the ones that use filters and then advertise makeup. Because I got tricked in COVID. I was buying all this makeup, trying to learn how to do my makeup better. And I was buying all this stuff, and I was like, oh, this doesn't look good. So I really started kind of digging back into beauty again. And I brought in a few brands, and I'll start with my Ottawa find. So this is from Axia Station. I'm saying that correct, right?
Yeah.
So it's on Rideau Street. I love this store. They've got a lot of J Beauty, K Beauty, so Japan Beauty and Korean Beauty. The staff there is immensely helpful, and they are budget friendly.
Okay.
I got 11 masks that give you a filter-free look. Sorry, 10 masks that get you a filter-free look for $11.
Wow.
And I checked online, super recommended. This came incredibly recommended for a kind of that airbrush glow, and it's black sugar mask wash off. I also picked it up at Axia Station. It was $14 when I went and looked online. definitely buy it there. It was $30 on Amazon.
Really?
So I was like,
Okay.
Other great brands, Charlotte Tilbury, can't go wrong with. She's actually designed her whole collection to be airbrushy, which is great. Her app is incredible for shopping. And of course, Makeup by Mario. I hate to say it, he's Kim Kardashian's makeup artist, but he's amazing and his price points are good.
Nice. I love it. Now we look like we're moving into something in the comfort zone over here.
So cozy,
right?
and we're going Canadian again. We're going made in Canada, printed in Canada, and recyclable. So Magic Bag is a classic. It's been around for 30 years, and they've just come up with a new signature edition. So of course you can use this to warm up or cool down. But what's really neat about Magic Bag that I didn't know is that after 100 uses, it is time to get a new one. But you can, there's the grains inside, of course, are compostable, and you can repurpose the fabric.
Oh, that
which
is a great
so
idea.
Cool. And
so this is like just for those little muscles, you know, that are feeling a little, okay.
Growing pains is great, and they've just brought out Warmy, who's great for kids, and that's great for, you know, sore tummies. Or growing pains is something we don't talk about much anymore.
That's true.
But kids still ironically go through it.
Absolutely, yeah. What a great idea.
We just
I love
leave
that
them
one.
suffering.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, I did plan to bring a bunch. This is hysterical. I just had to bring my mistakes. I had a whole box of like delicious treats I made for you of fall flavors, including pumpkin spice.
Okay.
And someone on the Via Rail train from yesterday is enjoying those.
Oh no, you forgot them?
But somehow I put the whipped cream in my bag.
Listen, you made someone's day.
So I just brought that for a laugh.
Okay, I like it. Okay.
Last but not least, you were talking about how you and Monica may want to start buying doll houses and refurbishing them.
Yeah, just for fun. Just like a hobby to do.
And if you posted those online, you would become a good influencer.
Because that's what you like, right? Is when you're when an influencer is doing something, being creative, not just I'm unboxing a product that I got for free from Maybelline or, you know, whoever it happens to be. I'm just throwing out something.
Exactly.
Right?
And one fun thing is I was following this account. I'll send it to you. They make everything miniature and they do little videos in the houses.
Oh, nice.
It's just like a place to take you away. So I picked this up at Value Village. Now it was originally red and gaudy and like a kid's toy.
Right.
So I washed it down, spray painted black, and then I took just filler for your walls, put black paint in it, and added icing. And I'm just starting to decorate this. So I added some little guys on top, and we're tiling the inside. And you know what? This is just a fun project to take your time on. And crafting really is. This is great for Halloween, but it's such a stress reliever.
Oh, absolutely.
And we have so many stresses in life, so all of these actually secretly remove stresses.
Ah, so that is the theme we've been looking at. What are these things up here?
Stop. These are so cool. So these are you can go to Imaginaire.
In the Rideau Center, yeah.
These are Miniverse. I am obsessed with this brand. And inside, you can make little mini cakes and Halloween food. I'm making mini, tiny Halloween mugs. What this is so cool for, I did an Instagram post on this. Again, not sponsored, but you can learn how to work with resins and mold making, but it's tiny. So you actually get comfortable, because I used to make a lot of molds, and you learn the process with these Make It Minis, and they're $13.
Oh my God, that's a great idea.
I'm going to leave one of these for you and Monica, and it will. This is going to make you want to buy your doll house.
And I will Instagram it out to make you proud that I'm showing my creative side with Monica.
And this is great food size for doll houses.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is our fun.
There's something about them that I guess it brings me back to when I was a kid. I remember, I'm sorry to my sister Christy, but my brother and I basically took over her Barbie dollhouse and turned it into G.I. Joe headquarters. And that's the creative fun that you can have as a brother to a younger sister. Hey, we got lots more coming up. We'll be back with more right after this. That's a true story. No, I wish I did.
Oh, I wish you still had
And my dad.
This is a brain in urgent need of mental health care. But because 3 out of every 4 Indigenous people experience racism in healthcare, she may not get the help she needs. Become an ally. Rise above racism in healthcare.
Welcome to Community News and Events. I'm Dave Hilson. As the city prepares its 2025 budget, the Ottawa Food Bank encourages you to join a counselor-led public consultation where you can share your thoughts on food security. It's a unique opportunity to get your voice out and advocate for crucial change and help make our city more food secure. For scheduling and more information, visit ottawafoodbank.ca. You can also visit ottawa.ca for the 2025 draft budget consultations and also see updated information regarding beaches, parking, and open-air fire permits. Lastly, the Ottawa not-for-profit 613 Flea will be happening October 26th at Lansdowne Park. It's free to attend and has over 140 vendors providing a wide variety of items from clothing to comics and, of course, some great food. Meanwhile, watch Derek Fage's daytime weekdays at 2 p.m. on Rogers TV 22.
Learn all about the creation of the National Capital Region on The History of Ottawa, according to Phil Jenkins, on Rogers TV.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to rogerstv.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at rogerstv.com.
Welcome back to the show. These are some of the segments I just love having on the show because it's a great, unique idea and it raises funds for a great cause. Here to tell us more about it, I'm joined by Joy, who's the project creator and one of the models of this wonderful calendar we're going to introduce you to. And Holly Ralph is the director at hollyralph.ca. Welcome. Great to have you here as well. Joy, let's start with you. Tell me, what was the inspiration behind this calendar?
Well, I was talking to Linda Garcia. She is the president of the Miroir Foundation. It's a new charity. She took over, it's relaunched from the Elder Care Foundation.
Okay.
And this charity is about funds for older adults who are isolated or lonely, and that's what it's all about, really. So this evening was all about sparking joy in these people. So it's a very fun-filled evening. And this sort of rattled around in my brain for a while, and but I kind of forgot about it. And then one morning I woke up and I thought, calendar girls. Oh, what a great fit, because I teach older adults fitness.
Okay.
And I thought, you know, the older adults who are lonely and isolated, and my group, and put it all together. We can tell a story here in a calendar.
Right.
Oh, you remember Calendar Girls? Have you heard about the story?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was fantastic. Do you know they raised $6 million?
Pounds. Really?
Oh, pounds.
Yeah.
Oh,
6 million pounds.
6 million pounds,
Wow.
and that was in '98.
Right.
For cancer. They raised, that was the Women's Institute. Well, I wasn't an institute. Sorry, my voice is...
Voice is fine, Joy. Don't worry about
Anyway,
that. Well, as you talk about that, let me just show you that. And I apologize. I tried to print this in color this morning in a bit of a rush. Here's the black and white, though. And it's really celebrating not only, you know, obviously you're saying older women, but it's celebrating your bodies and your confidence in yourselves,
well,
right?
Golly, when we first started this, I thought, where am I going to find older, mature women who are going to actually appear in the buff? Well, you know, pertinent pieces covered. And actually it was a bit of a struggle at the start. And then Holly, who's my events, she's an events planner, my daughter Holly, and she found two people just like that. And then Lisa, the photographer, found another two people, and then the charity found another one. And then me. We were 6 women, and my goodness, they are strong, resilient. Their bios are in the calendar. They will blow you away. They are really wonderful people.
Holly, how did the two of you connect? How did you find out about each other?
This is my mother.
Oh my goodness. Why didn't you guys tell me that before the show? So that's an easy connection?
That's an easy connection.
Okay.
Because it is a little risque to appear as such in the calendar. So a lot of the models we'll notice when you purchase it, there's no last names listed there.
Right.
So there is a connection here, but...
Anyway, so it's a story in itself, really.
Right.
Because these women have gone through hell. Some have gone through hell and high water.
Right.
But it shows how they can go on and have invigorated life in retirement, you know. At any age, you can turn back your body's clock. That's what it's all about, really.
So, I mean, yeah, people hear that and they go, oh, yeah, okay, that's... So, I mean, how have you gone about doing that for yourself, turning back the body's clock?
I had a metamorphosis. I was a secretary most of my life, and Algonquin College sent out this flyer to say, you know, how fitness instructor's course. And I thought, oh, my daughter had gone to high school, I'll do that. So I did the course, and I used to stand up there and shake when I first started to teach cardio. And eventually, oh my goodness, I went from introvert to extrovert.
Really?
I mean, fitness, the brain and the body, it just brings you to life.
Yeah.
It's that, and I should keep, yeah, I know I'm on my podium,
it's not
sorry.
That. It's that fitness is Joy's thing. But the beautiful thing about the calendar is every individual picture that we have of our models represents something that they love. So you may see someone on a sailboat. You may see some ladies golfing. These are things that they actually do in their lives and that they enjoy. So whatever it is that you enjoy, you can still do it. You can embrace it. You can do it more in your golden years.
I love that. So you didn't just say, okay, here's some cool locations that we're going to use, you know, that you often see, right, at a photo shoot.
We had 2 houses we worked in, and then we went in a garden party, the bike path, a golf course. Nobody saw us. And then
you snuck into a golf course, Joy. I love it.
And then the last one was on the Ottawa River on a sailboat.
And it wouldn't have happened without our team. I've got to say, our photographer, Lisa Watson from Love and Wonderlist, and alfortier.com is our hair and makeup team. Picture Plus has printed it for us on this phenomenal paper, and they gave us an amazing deal. We really pulled this off in one day. One day we did all the pictures.
Full shoot.
10 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock at night. We were like Energizer bunnies hopping all over it was unbelievable.
So what about, you know, okay, and you all gather, I mean, how much fun must have that experience been for all of you, Joy?
They had a wonderful time, and they were so enthusiastic about the whole thing. And, you know, the positive thoughts, I can and I will. And we did. My God, we did, didn't we?
Oh, yes, we did.
So have you all remained friends to this day?
Yes. It really was a labor of love. It really was.
What's been the feedback so far?
Well, to be quite honest, this is our launch.
Oh, this is the launch?
This is our launch.
It's an exclusive here on Daytime.
It really is. So
I love it.
It's now officially live on the website, hollyralph.ca. There's a nice little button in the corner that says 2025 Calendar Girls. And our goal is at least $10,000. If we sell all the calendars we have right now for the minimum, we will at least raise $10,000. Nice. The next goal is we're going to do it again next year.
But with a twist, Joy?
Next year, it's going to be males. And we have an Ottawa celebrity. And apparently he's still got lovely hair. There's the clue.
Oh, I bet you I know who it is. I won't say. I'm not going to say anything, but I have a feeling I know who it might be. Yeah. No, this is such a great idea, and congratulations to you and everybody involved. What a unique experience. Available at hollyralph.ca. If you, as Holly said, if you click on the 2025 Calendar Girls button, it's just located in the top right-hand corner. You can pick up your copy, and of course, funds go to a great cause. We'll be back with more right after this. Look at Joy's hitting the button right now.
Kids these days, people say we lack initiative.
And technology, that we're all addicted.
Kids these days, we hear that we only care about ourselves. Apparently, we're lazy.
And don't seem to have any sense of independence.
Actually, kids these days are facing a lot. Because the world has changed, and so have our health issues. Kids these days, we could really use your help. Join CHIO in our biggest fundraising campaign ever to transform pediatric care.
It's a new season of The New Fly Fisher on Rogers TV.
I'm so happy to have these pastel legs. I wear them every day so I can do all the things I love to do. I like to hike, skate, and do gymnastics. Because of your donations, Lamps is able to give me these devices. When you donate, you help kids like me. Thank you.
Unbelievable. You just never see that. What a shot. The OHL on Rogers TV.
Are you a content creator looking to expand your audience and make your voice heard in your community? Rogers TV wants to provide you with a platform to share your hobbies, interests, and stories for free. Visit us to find out more.
Welcome back to the show. You will probably recognize my next two guests if you're a regular viewer, but she and her wonderful service dog, Quinn, are here to talk about a different subject this time around because she's got a brand new book. It's called Don't Snooze on Your Dreams, Lessons from Life with Narcolepsy. Michelle Weger, of course, the author, and as I said, her beautiful service dog, Quinn. Welcome. Great to have you back here, and congrats on the book.
Thank you.
Obviously, I think it's pretty obvious to myself and viewers the inspiration behind this. So let's start with, your diagnosis. I think you were in your 20s, Michelle, when you were diagnosed?
You're right. Early 20s, I was diagnosed after about 5 years of symptoms with no progress towards a diagnosis. So I went from totally unknown what was happening to diagnosed literally overnight after a sleep study.
So what were those symptoms?
So the first time I ever fell asleep in public, that was a big red flag.
Okay.
And it was in the middle of an exam for school. I fell asleep on a microscope, woke up totally bruised.
Really?
Yeah, and that was the first moment that, this was a Wednesday. It wasn't after a party night.
Right.
Something was wrong.
Okay. So you got the sleep test done, and then so walk me through from there. I mean, that must have changed life dramatically.
Yeah, it's this mix because now I know what's wrong, and that's great. But it's also not curable. I'll have it for the rest of my life. So the loss of who I wanted to be, planned to be, expected to be, there was a lot of grief associated with that moment.
Right.
Plus, they take your driver's license, and that's a huge independence loss for anyone.
Oh, absolutely. I know that from family members who, have suffered a stroke, and that's their main goal is to get that driver's license back. So, okay, how did you work through that? Because you're a successful business person, you're an entrepreneur, you do a lot of public speaking, you talk, obviously passionate about service dogs. How did you find that resiliency eventually?
So that's a big part of what the book is about, is the method that I used to overcome the hand I was dealt, because we all deal with things, right?
Right.
And for me, it's narcolepsy. But for others, it could be a child with a learning disability or a spouse with depression, being a caregiver for a parent. We all have something.
Right.
And through the book, I outlined the 5-step method, which is the DREAM method, DREAM, perfect for narcolepsy. And the steps that I use, and they're all very practical, easy to do steps, so that when people read the book, they can immediately start getting benefits rather than it being only inspirational. Yeah, and I don't want to give away too much because I want people to buy the book, of course, and the big book launch, by the way, coming up shortly. We'll tell you about that. But what is one example of those methods? Yeah, so a great one that I personally love is memorialize, which is when you've achieved something that you've been working towards. As children, we get, little ribbons, stickers, proof, and then all of a sudden overnight, no one gives us anything anymore. It's true. Yeah. And so by giving ourselves something, so for me, shoes is one of those things.
Nice shoes, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. So anytime
So
I
you
achieve
reward
something,
yourself.
exactly, and then you can look at those rewards. When you're feeling down, when you're wondering, can I really do this next hard thing? You can go and look at that physical proof and say, well, Of course I can. I've done it before.
Yeah, and I guess there's two ways to look at it. You know, if you're working for somebody in a business, oftentimes, you know, if you get called in the office, it's not usually, hey, you did a great job, right? It's the old slap on the hand. I've been there. And then if you're an entrepreneur, well, there's nobody else really to, you know, reward you and tell you how great you've done, right?
Exactly.
So the goal of the book, what would you say is the goal of the book that you want people to take away? What's that main message?
I want people to have tools to work through the hard things that are happening in their lives so that they don't leave their dreams on the table. Quinn.
Just have a seat, Quinn, and relax there. Let's talk about, that's another, I mean, I mentioned that off the top. Another one of your passions is obviously service dog. How does Quinn help you then?
Yeah, so having narcolepsy, the falling asleep in public, that's the biggest danger. That's the biggest worry. And Quinn knows before I know.
Really?
Yeah, she'll tell me to sit down before I fall down. And in an instance like this where she's putting weight on me, she doesn't want me to stand up in this moment. It's not a big enough alert that she thinks I'm going to fall asleep, but she doesn't want me to stand up. So that could be, I mean, we're on TV, there's probably a bit of nerves, she's probably picking up on something.
Okay.
So the biggest thing she does for me is stops me from falling asleep by alerting to take medication.
Okay, so I mean, for people that aren't aware, so could you fall asleep while you're walking? Does it always have to be in sort of a sitting position, or?
So pre-diagnosis, without any medication, it's a lot worse. So in that situation, I have a friend who fell asleep while walking down the street in the winter time.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why getting diagnosed is so important. It doesn't cure it. If I were to be sitting in your waiting room and not have either my phone or someone to talk to, it's nap time.
Right.
And I wouldn't want that, it just happens. With the diagnosis and the medicine, that allows it to be a little bit more controlled.
Right.
In the sense that there is a buffer to avoid the most dangerous situations. But if I'm left in a quiet space, I'm still going to fall asleep every time.
I mentioned, you know, what a great success that you've been, you know, both personally and professionally. On the professional side, what do you owe to that success? I mean, you must have had inner doubts, and like, how did you fight through all of that?
So the book talks a lot about that, and that is, you know, I created this method and I'm the proof that it works. That's in each of the steps, I include 3 stories. And the goal of those stories are that everyone will identify with at least one of them.
Okay.
So there may be a business one, there could be a family-based one, and something more for, you know, someone with a regular job. And it goes through examples I've done.
Nice. You've got a book launch coming up, right?
Yes, the book itself has been out about a month, but tomorrow is the party that's for media and the big, it's now a bestseller, so the bestseller party.
Best-selling author, ladies and gentlemen. It's called Don't Snooze Your Dreams. Don't forget, it's available, by the way, on Amazon, probably the easiest way to get it. And, of course, you can visit Michelle's website to find out more information about her and her businesses. We'll be back with more right after this.
Hey, sports and recreation clubs. Got an upcoming event you want to share? Get the word out with Rogers TV Channel 22. Our community billboard service is free for all local events. Whether it's a fundraiser, festival, or fun run, we're here to help you spread the word. Visit rogerstv.com/communitybillboard to submit your event details today. Let's make your event a huge success with Rogers TV Channel 22. But there's more, right, Dave?
That's right, Jillian. Attention charity and volunteer organizations. Do you have a special event coming up? Share your message with the entire community on Rogers TV Channel 22. Our community billboard service is free for all community events, whether it's a service, fundraiser, or community outreach. We've got you covered. Visit rogerstv.com/communitybillboard to submit your event details today. Let's spread the word and bring our community together with Rogers TV Channel 22.
I'm Sam LaPrade, and you're invited to join us for the next Hour to Give. We're going to talk all about Ottawa Salus and a very exciting campaign they have coming up, which you can get involved in. Join us then.
Hi, I'm Sam LaPrade, host of Ottawa Business Matters. We're going to gather here every single week and speak about business here in the capital. We're going to inspire, influence, and inform.
Hey, welcome back to the show. Back to talk about hospice, and I think this is a great educational piece because the perception of what hospice is to what the public perception is can be quite different at times. And here to tell us more about the Beth Donovan Hospice is the Executive Director, Sue Walker. Sue, welcome to the show. And Amy Tibbin, who is the Outreach Coordinator. Welcome. Great to have you here as well. Sue, I'll start with you. Let's just start off talking about Beth Donovan Hospice and what your commitment and mission is.
So we've been in the community for over 30 years. We were started 100% by volunteers that wanted to have hospice services in their community. I think one of the most important things for people to know is that hospice isn't about just the last days of life. It's about when you get that diagnosis and you need support and you need somebody to help you advocate, whether it's with physicians or through the system, and getting the support that you need, and just being around other people who are going through the same thing.
Right.
So we offer things like in-home visiting. So we have volunteers that can come in and give a caregiver a respite, or sit and play cards or read with somebody that was their passion and they can no longer do that. We also have our day hospice program. So people will come for the day, and we have complimentary therapies, massage, foot backyard.
Nice.
And we also have a medical equipment lending program. And so anybody in the community who is having surgery and who just needs a walker or a commode or crutches for, a brief period of time, rather than buy those, they can come to us and get them for free. And we also have a grief and bereavement counseling program,
right,
which has constant wait list. And it's one of the few services in the community that is free, that all of our services are free.
Yeah, and Amy, it's interesting, as Sue's talking, one of the things that comes to mind is, of course, the person that's going through that, but beyond that, there's a lot of suffering from the people around them, right? And this is something that's, incredibly important to Beth Donovan is to help out with those people as well, right? Those caregivers.
Exactly, yeah. The family caregivers and neighbors and support teams that surround the person who is at end of life, they need our support as well. And we provide that support through programs like our Caregiver Coffee. We have a lending library that has all kinds of resources on all different kinds of illnesses and care at end of life, which is really important.
You've got a campaign going on right now. Who wants to chat about that, Sue?
We do.
Okay.
Yes. The Canadian Cancer Society launched a campaign back in September, and it's entitled Bring Care Closer to Home. So we had big billboard up on 416 saying, next hospice bed, 54 kilometers. And that was to educate people about, okay, you have to come to Ottawa if you live like in North Grenville or Merrickville, anywhere out there, or Cornwall is the next closest one. And many of our folks don't drive in the city anymore or don't drive at all anymore.
Right.
So it's very difficult. They don't tend to put their loved one in hospice in Ottawa or Cornwall because they wouldn't be able to see them. So they keep them at home at their own risk. Sometimes there's caregiver burnout, or they end up at the hospital for their last days. So we want to bring hospice beds to North Grenville.
So how do we go about doing that?
Visit our website, which is bethdonovanhospice.ca, and it's right on the home page. You'll see Bring Care Closer to Home. Click on it, scroll to the bottom of the page, and you can just fill out your name and address, and it goes to MPP Steve Clark's office.
Okay. Are you encouraged by any of the conversations that are happening with government?
We're always hopeful. We are working really hard. We've been doing this for a long time. We have great support, especially from our local politicians.
Yes, the mayor and the council and MPP Steve Clark, he knew Beth. Back when she started it, and that he made a promise to her that he was going to see beds come to North Grenville. So he's very passionate about it.
So people that don't know Beth and Beth Donovan's story, can you just share a little bit with us today?
Yeah, sure. So as I said, she was the one who had the desire to start, and it started off as North Grenville Community Hospice in the church, in a church basement in Merrickville.
Right.
And then as she got more volunteer support, they opened a small office in Kempville, and they had, it was the size of this room. And they were able to get a Trillium grant to hire a volunteer coordinator. So she was able to provide volunteer training in the community, and then they started getting donations of medical equipment. And from there, it grew. And the hospital let us have free rent for a while in their old emergency department.
Okay.
And then we had a benefactor who passed away and allowed us to purchase the home that we're in now, which we call our forever home, which we're very proud of.
Yeah. Do we know how many beds were short in this province, in this region?
Well, in Ontario, there is a ratio, and we are not meeting it. I think we are at just over 3 per 100,000. Yes, and we are supposed to be at 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess that's a comparison to other districts in the country or worldwide?
I think the only area in Canada that is meeting that target is British Columbia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I understand there's a local hockey team in Kempville that's helping out as well. Tell me about that.
The Kempville 73s have partnered with us for the Bring Care Closer to Home, and we are at every single home game in the arena. We have a table set up to talk about hospice, but to also have people sign the petition to bring care closer to home.
Nice.
So we've had 73s jerseys made for the volunteers. So we have 73s on the front, Beth Donovan on the back, and we talk to everybody who comes in to go to a home game.
Amy, you have an event coming up on November 5th. You were here last year at this time. You were just reminding me. Tell me about the event.
Yeah, so this is Rural Hospice Day. We're very passionate about end-of-life care close to home, like the Bring Care Closer to Home campaign. Mm-hmm. And the goal of this event is to bring rural hospices together and talk about some of those challenges. How do we get beds in the communities where people have lived their lives so that they can die in those communities as well, so that loved ones don't have to drive into the city. I know when I was supporting someone who was in hospital in Ottawa, it was a very stressful time, and I was driving an hour in and out each day. It's really important that we have the supports in our rural communities, including education. So go to ruralhospice.ca and get your tickets for Rural Hospice Day.
Yeah, and they have a wonderful keynote speaker as well, by the way, Dr. Michael Ungar. And if you're not familiar with Dr. Ungar, incredible work. So make sure you get your tickets again. ruralhospiceday.ca. We'll be back with more right after this.
Kids these days, people say we lack initiative.
And technology, that we're all addicted.
Kids these days, we hear that we only care about ourselves. Apparently, we're lazy.
And don't seem to have any sense of independence.
Actually, kids these days are facing a lot because the world has changed, and so have our health issues. Kids these days, we could really use your help. Join CHIO in our biggest fundraising campaign ever to transform pediatric care.
With Rogers TV, you can cheer on the home team from the comfort of your living room. We'll head to the rink, the field, the court, or the pitch, so you don't have to. Tune in and cheer on your local amateur athletes on Rogers TV.
Join us for Season 4 of Simply Cooking by Chef, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock, right here on Rogers TV.
On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, we encourage Canadians to pause and remember all that veterans have sacrificed for us. lest we forget.
Public transit, garbage pickup, parks and recreation programs, snow removal on your street. How can you stay informed about these and other important local services? Tune to City Council coverage on Rogers TV. See your community leaders at work on Rogers TV City Council coverage.
This week on Canada Files, a true Canadian hero, Rick Hansen. How he took a personal tragedy and made it into a lifelong mission for people with disabilities.
Welcome back to the show. My next guest is the executive director of the Prescott Russell Recreational Trail, and just exciting things have been happening for them and the trail itself, and what a summer it's been, and moving into fall. If you're one of those fans of cycling and walking and you have not been experience this trail, it is an absolute must. Eric Collard, as I said, joining me on the show. Welcome. Great to have you here. We were just talking about the summer and, into the fall so far, and you say the numbers have just been amazing, right?
Yeah, it's, but even we had our last community market in Bourgette on Saturday, and just an incredible day, beautiful weather, fall colors, some local merchants, some local folks getting some local goods. So it's pretty cool to be part of something like that.
Yeah, and I think you had about 60 people from around the world that came to sort of, I guess, what is it, pre-conference?
Yeah, so the World Trails Conference was actually in Ottawa last month. And we got contacted to host because we're a somewhat unique situation. We're a rural trail.
Right.
So they bussed some about 60 folks from around the world. We had people from Portugal, New Zealand, France, England, the States, and obviously all over Canada. So it was nice to, we got all of our e-bikes there so people can take the e-bikes on the trail. We had some local foods, some fèves au lard, some baked beans from La Binerie Plantagenet, and some great stuff. We had some great feedback. It's nice to just have conversation with people that either are running trails or are involved some way with trails. And then the challenges are usually the same.
Okay.
Obviously different, for Canada, one of our biggest problem is population density, especially in the rural area.
Right.
Europe doesn't really have that problem, but they have other issues. So it was nice to just have that conversation. It was nice to host them on our on our trail. And the feedback we got was pretty cool.
Let's talk about the trail itself. For people that aren't familiar with the trail, tell them about it.
Yeah, so it's a 72-kilometer multi-purpose trail. So in the summer, you see people walking, cycling, running. And then in the winter, most of the traffic is from snowmobiles.
Okay.
But you see people walking or cross-country skiing on the side. And it's basically, there is actually a part that's in Ottawa. It's called the Prescott Russell Link. Starts at Anderson Road, and it goes all the way to the outskirts of the city. And then the trail that I'm responsible for is the 72 kilometers within Prescott Russell.
Okay.
So, and one of the big news too, obviously the World Trails Conference was a big thing for us. And then we also are now part of what they call a corridor study through Destination Canada, which is the international tourism marketing agency for the Canadian government. And basically, we're working on the cycle tourism study between Ottawa and Montreal.
Interesting.
So to really link up to see what are we missing. We know for us, for example, in Prescott Russell, there's some amenities that are missing.
Okay.
Like if you're trying to cycle from Montreal to Ottawa, where are you going to stay that's close to the trail?
Right.
So we know that's an issue. There's also a couple of linkages that are not perfectly done yet. Like technically, this trail ends in a forest at Anderson Road. So we're working with the MCC in the city to kind of link that up with the rest of the trails. And on the other side, on the Quebec side, Rigaud is getting their 10 kilometers of trail onto the same rail bed. And then we're working with the communities of Hudson and Vaudreuil to kind of continue all the way to Montreal, so you'll be able to bike in one dedicated, safe trail all the way to Montreal.
That is amazing. So is there thoughts then, Eric, of eventually putting some kind of infrastructure along the trail so people have somewhere to stay and stop?
That's part of the study, is looking at doing a little bit of a SWOT analysis, like what do we have, what are we missing? And then they're actually, it's a year and a half kind of study, and then the last part is an investment plan.
Okay.
Saying, okay, here's our inventory of what's good, what's what needs improvement, and then what kind of investments do we need to make this happen. We know that cycle tourism is only growing.
Yeah.
We know e-bikes are a huge impact on our trail, which and a great impact.
Yes.
People of all ages can go and enjoy a 2-hour bike ride now, 3-4 hours. Like it's really making cycling accessible. And then how can we make the Ottawa to Montreal corridor a world-class destination?
Right.
That's really what we're working on. So, and we got some nice recognition. My ugly mug was on the front page of the Citizen a few weeks ago, and I'll do anything for the brand, right?
Of course.
So, it was nice to get some people, because a lot of people, like you said, don't even know about this trail.
Yeah.
And this trail starts in Ottawa. Like the rail bed starts in Ottawa, and you can go like uninterrupted for 100 kilometers.
Yeah,
and then all you have to do is cross a few streets, but there's, other than that, no traffic, and you get to see lovely rural landscapes.
Yeah.
You get to see some, some wildlife. You get to see obviously the fall colors in the fall. A couple of little waterways. So I mean, I'm biased, obviously, but I think it's a pretty cool.
Oh no, it's incredible. So how is it maintained? This obviously costs money to maintain it. How is it funded?
Yeah, so part of it is we've got a couple of founding partners to help us. The United Counties of Prescott Russell, and then Via Rail has been a contributor as well.
Excellent.
And then most of the other stuff is just some fundraising on our part and partnerships. We just became we're a recipient organization of the Russell Kin Club, the Catch the Ace 7, which is going to be starting sometime soon.
Excellent.
So all these little things, and then some events that we have. We have some comedy fundraisers we've talked about before, and we're having a few more.
Yeah, you have some coming up. What, the end of November?
Yeah, we have one on Saturday, November 23rd at Broken Stick in Hammond.
Okay.
And then we have the following weekend. We're going to Bowes in Van Cleek Hill.
Oh, nice.
So it's
nice.
And it's great to have those partnerships because the community knows about those and then they know about the trails, so we just kind of get together, have a few laughs, maybe share a beverage, and then raise some money for the trail.
Absolutely love it. Eric, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate it. I'll tell you, by the way, to wrap up, about a couple of other events that are coming up on November 5th. We'll be back with that right after this.
Learn all about the creation of the National Capital Region on The History of Ottawa, according to Phil Jenkins, on Rogers TV.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to rogerstv.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at rogerstv.com.
It's a new season of The New Fly Fisher on Rogers TV.
Hey, welcome back to the show. All right, let's just wrap things up. My apologies, not November 5th. November 2nd, a couple of events coming up with regards to the Prescott Russell Recreational Trail. They have their Trail Run Relay Saturday, November 2nd, and same day, Saturday, November 2nd, is the Fall Volunteer Cleanup. So if you want to be a part of either of those, you can find out more information at sentierprtrail.ca. A reminder as well, the Rural Hospice Day. That is coming up on November the 5th. If you want to be a part of their 3rd annual Rural Hospice Day event, you can find out all the information at ruralhospiceday.ca. November 5th at the My FM Center in Renfrew, and that runs from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And again, great guest speaker, Dr. Michael Ungar, for that one. A big thanks to Joy and Holly for joining me on the show. This unique calendar, I mean, celebrating women and how confident and proud they are as they age, and all the interesting things that they're doing. And this is a really unique calendar. It's available at hollyralph.ca. There is a button on the top right-hand corner called 2025 Calendar Girls. Just click on that. That does it for me. We'll see you next time here on Daytime.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
Unscripted, uninterrupted coverage of events by Canada's business leaders, visionaries, and social figures. Watch Podium exclusively on Rogers TV.
The regulars, the guys who keep this place in business. Last week, they had something to celebrate. Jason had just finished university.